Have you ever felt utterly alone, stranded in a desert, crying out for an answer that seems to never come? Have you found yourself facing a situation where logic dictates there's no way out, and hope has withered like cracked earth under a relentless sun? This feeling of helplessness, of a brass sky above your head, is not new. It's a human experience as ancient as time itself, resonating with a millennia-old story that challenged the very nature of reality. Long ago, in a distant land, the people of Israel lived under a devastating drought. It wasn't merely the absence of rain, it was a spiritual drought, a famine of truth. King Ahab and his queen Jezebel had led the nation astray into the worship of Baal, a pagan god of fertility and rain. The cult of Baal promised prosperity, but delivered only barrenness and despair. The land groaned, rivers dried up, and the silence of God seemed deafening. But amidst this widespread apostasy, there was one voice that refused to be silenced. A man, a prophet named Elijah, emerged from the wilderness with a message that would challenge everything known. He was not a temple priest, nor a member of the royal court. He was an ordinary man, with an extraordinary faith, carrying a hidden truth. The God of Israel was not dead, nor absent. He was merely waiting for a genuine cry. Elijah's initial revelation was shocking. As the Lord, the God of Israel, lives whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years except at my word. It was an audacious declaration, a direct affront to the gods of rain. But it wasn't just a prophecy. It was an invitation for the people to awaken from their spiritual lethargy, to recognize the sham that surrounded them, and to seek the true source of life. This wasn't an easy truth to accept, for it demanded looking beyond appearances, beyond what was taught and accepted. It required gnosis, a deep and transformative knowledge that would reveal the true nature of reality and the power residing in genuine faith. The drought wasn't just a climatic phenomenon, it was a symptom of a profound spiritual disconnection. And Elijah, with his prophetic voice, was issuing a call to adventure. The adventure of rediscovering the power of prayer and the sovereignty of a God who answers with fire and rain. Are you ready to embark on this journey and uncover the truth behind the silence? Elijah's journey was far from easy. After his audacious prophecy, he was forced into hiding, fed by ravens, and later sustained by a widow in Zarephath, whose jar of flour and jug of oil never ran dry. These were the initial stages of his quest, not just for survival, but for a deeper understanding of divine power. He was being prepared, molded for the ultimate confrontation. While the nation withered under the drought, Elijah was undergoing an initiation, learning that God's provision is not limited by natural laws, but operates on a higher plane, the divine pleroma, where abundance is the norm. The climax of this quest unfolded on Mount Carmel. Elijah, alone, challenged the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of Asherah. It was an epic confrontation, not just between men but between worldviews. On one side, institutionalized religion with its empty rituals and dependence on external forces. On the other, pure faith, a direct connection to the Creator. Elijah proposed a test. Each side would build an altar, place a sacrifice, but not light the fire. The God who answered with fire from heaven would be the true God. The prophets of Baal cried out, danced, cut themselves, but nothing happened. Their God's silence was deafening. This moment reveals a core Gnostic tension, the struggle against the demiurge, the false creator, the system that promises much but delivers only emptiness. Baal represented this false authority, demanding human effort and sacrifice without true divine response. Elijah, however, understood a deeper truth. He knew that true power lay not in outward display or frantic effort, but in an inner alignment, a gnosis of the divine will. His preparation in the wilderness, his reliance on miraculous provision, had stripped away all illusions. He was ready to demonstrate that the true source of power was not found in human manipulation or elaborate rituals, but in a simple, profound connection to the living God. This quest was not just for fire, but for the revelation of ultimate truth, a truth that would shatter the prevailing deception and awaken a nation to its true spiritual heritage. The stage was set for a revelation that would redefine everything. The moment arrived. After hours of the Baal prophet's futile cries, Elijah stepped forward. He didn't engage in theatrics, he didn't boast. Instead, he repaired the altar of the Lord that had been torn down, using 12 stones, symbolizing the 12 tribes of Israel, a profound act of spiritual restoration. Then he commanded that the sacrifice be drenched with water, not once but 3 times, filling a trench around the altar. This wasn't just a practical step, it was a deliberate act to increase the impossibility, to make the coming miracle undeniable. It was a what moment designed to shock the senses and challenge all conventional understanding. Then Elijah prayed. His prayer was short, direct, and powerful. He didn't beg, he declared. He didn't plead, he invoked. Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant and have done all these things at your command. Answer me, Lord, answer me, so these people will know that you, Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back again. And in that instant, fire from the Lord fell and consumed the burnt offering, the wood, the stones, and even the water in the trench. It was a complete, undeniable, and utterly overwhelming demonstration of divine power. This was the major twist, the revelation that reframed everything. It wasn't just about rain, it was about who held ultimate authority. The fire wasn't just a physical phenomenon. It was a symbolic connection to the very essence of God, a consuming fire that purifies, destroys falsehood, and reveals truth. The moral and spiritual tension was palpable. The people, who had been wavering between Baal and the Lord, now fell prostrate, crying, "The Lord, He is God! The Lord, He is God!" The stakes were incredibly high. The spiritual destiny of a nation hung in the balance. This revelation was a direct assault on the demiurge's illusion, exposing the emptiness of false worship and revealing the true, living God. It was a moment of profound gnosis for an entire people, a sudden, undeniable understanding of the divine reality that had been hidden in plain sight. The fire had fallen, the false prophets were exposed, and the people had turned their hearts back to the Lord. But the drought, the physical manifestation of their spiritual disconnect, still gripped the land. The ultimate confrontation was not just with Baal, but with the consequences of their choices. Elijah, having demonstrated God's power to consume, now faced the challenge of God's power to restore. He climbed to the top of Carmel, bowed down to the ground, and put his face between his knees. He sent his servant to look toward the sea 7 times. 6 times, the servant reported nothing. 6 times, the sky remained clear, mocking the recent display of fire. This was the emotional and existential crisis. Had the miracle ended? Was the victory incomplete? This moment embodies the core revelation. True faith isn't just about a single dramatic event. It's about persistent, unwavering belief even when the immediate evidence is absent. It's about understanding that the pleroma of divine abundance is always present, even when the demiurge's world seems to deny it. Elijah's repeated sending of his servant was a testament to his absolute conviction, a quiet, internal choice that mirrored the earlier explosive external one. He was not just praying. He was aligning himself with the divine will, pulling the unseen into the seen. Finally, on the 7th time, the servant reported, "A cloud as small as a man's hand is rising from the sea." This tiny cloud, almost imperceptible, was the decisive moment. It was the sign, the tipping point, the confirmation that the heavens were about to open. Elijah immediately sent word to Ahab, "Hitch up your chariot and go down before the rain stops you." And then, the sky grew black with clouds. The wind rose and a heavy rain started to fall. The drought was broken. The land, parched for years, drank deeply. This was the climax, the ultimate manifestation of the Elijah prayer. Not just fire, but the life-giving rain, symbolizing complete restoration and the triumph of divine truth over the illusions of scarcity and spiritual barrenness. The gnosis was complete. God is not only the God of consuming fire, but also the God of life-giving rain, The rain poured down, washing away the dust of years, cleansing the land, and more importantly, cleansing the hearts of the people. The transformation was profound. It wasn't just a physical change, it was a shift in perception, a realignment with the true nature of reality. The hidden truth was now manifest for all to see. The God who answers by fire is also the God who brings forth life. This mystery, once confined to the whispers of prophets, was now a tangible, undeniable experience. How does this ancient mystery relate to our current times? We live in an age of unprecedented information, yet often feel a profound spiritual drought. We are bombarded by false gods, the relentless pursuit of material wealth, the endless scroll of social media, the promises of technology that often leave us feeling more disconnected than ever. These are our modern Baals, promising fulfillment, but delivering only emptiness. We face our own demiurges, systems and narratives that seek to control our minds and limit our understanding of our true potential and divine connection. The Elijah prayer, then, is not just a historical anecdote. It's a timeless blueprint for transformation. It leaves the viewer with open questions and a spiritual hunger. What drought are you facing in your life? What false gods have you unknowingly worshipped? Are you willing to repair the altar of your own heart and call upon the true source of power? The story of Elijah is a subtle but powerful call to personal reflection and action. It reminds us that the same God who answered Elijah with fire and rain is waiting to answer us. It invites us to seek our own gnosis, to awaken to the divine power within and around us, and to pray with the unwavering faith that ignites miracles, transforming our perception and ultimately our reality. The rain is coming. Are you ready to receive it?